I bet you didn't know these creepy facts that'll give you nightmares. After a stroke or some sorts of brain trauma, people can develop a disorder where they cannot see faces. They absolutely cannot recognize someone. It can be someone in their close family, a best friend. Many of them wouldn't even recognize themselves looking in the mirror. So there's Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. It's known for its frighteningly lifelike sculptures. What most people don't know though is how Madame Tussauds got her start. She would rush over to heads as they were falling after being lopped off by a guillotine. She used these heads to showcase her waxing process. In ancient England, people used the tops of hollowed out human skulls as cups and bowls. So they would literally eat and drink out of human skulls. In the Czech Republic, there is a church that is completely decorated with human bones. This happened because there was too many people in the cemetery. They were running out of room to bury people. And the church leaders claimed that if their bones became part of the church, that only meant they were closer to God. In 1973, two men were in a small submarine, 1,575 feet into the ocean. Suddenly, there was a malfunction, and water began flooding in, causing the submarine to sink. They only had enough oxygen left to survive for 3 days. It took so long for the rescue team to find them that by the time they extracted the crew, the men only had about 12 minutes of oxygen left. I bet you didn't know these weird facts that'll probably make you uncomfortable. Right before you die, your very last words could be, "I don't feel so good." Study shows that's a popular phrase those say right before death, along with, "I think something is wrong," "I don't feel right," or "something is happening." There is a poor whale that can only sing at 52 hertz, meaning it can't communicate with any other whales. It's been nicknamed the loneliest whale on the planet. Female dragonflies fake their own deaths. They do this so they aren't forcibly mated with. A dolphin named Kathy played Flipper on the popular TV show. Dolphins are so intelligent, and Kathy became so depressed that she ended up taking her own life. It's surprisingly easy and surprisingly common to break ribs while performing CPR. I bet you didn't know some of the longest prison sentences ever given. This video suggestion came from Jen McAllister. They sent me a donation and told me what they would like me to do a TikTok on. At the end of this TikTok, I'll explain how you can do the same. Charles Scott Robinson. He was sentenced to 30,000 years in prison. His crime was assaulting children. 5,000 years for every child he assaulted. Alan McLaurin. 21,250 year sentence. He assaulted an elderly woman, committed larceny, robbery, and kidnapping. In his appeal, his sentence was only reduced by 500 years. Dudley Kaiser, 10,000 year sentence. He murdered his wife, his mother-in-law, and a college student. He also has been denied parole 9 times. James Holmes, I don't even like saying his name. 12 life sentences and 3,318 years without the possibility of parole. He is the man behind the mass shooting that happened in the Aurora, Colorado movie theater when The Dark Knight was premiering. I still think he should have got a worse sentence, since my family was directly affected by this one. He deserves so much worse than he got. Bobby Long, 28 life sentences and 99 years, along with 1 death sentence. He assaulted over 50 women and murdered over 25 of them. Have a specific subject or story you'd like me to do a TikTok on? Here's how you can do it. You can send me a donation to my Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, or use the tip option on my TikTok if it's available. Just make sure to include your username in the notes. I'll follow you back and then send you a message, and you can tell me what you would like for me to do a TikTok on. I bet you didn't know about these shocking confessions people came clean with on their deathbed. An unnamed man was in a very serious car accident. He had severe internal bleeding and knew his time was ending. So what he said in the ambulance was, "Tell my wife that Wendy is my daughter and I love her." Wendy was the neighbor's 5-year-old child. Someone who worked in an assisted living home said that while on his deathbed moments before dying, started apologizing profusely for molesting his own grandson. One woman says she met another woman while riding the train once. The woman seemed incredibly nervous. She said she was on her way to meet her brother for the first time in 70 years. Her parents had told her that he had died when he was only an infant, but in reality, the woman seemed incredibly nervous. She said she was on her way to meet her brother for the first time in 70 years. Her parents had told her that he had died when he was only an infant, but in reality, her mother confessed on her deathbed that they had too many kids and they were too expensive, so they simply gave them away. Geraldine Kelly confessed something huge to her children on her deathbed. She told them that she had murdered her husband and stuffed him in a freezer for 13 years. In 2005, a man living in Norway who was on his deathbed asked the nurse to bring police to his room as to assaulting and murdering 2 women 30 years prior. What makes things worse? Another man had already served 18 years in prison for his crimes. I bet you didn't know these weird facts that'll probably make you uncomfortable. People used to say prunes instead of cheese when getting their picture taken. But why? Flamingos bend their legs at the ankle, not the knee. I don't know why that bothers me, but it does. Sloths can hold their breath for up to 40 minutes. That's longer than dolphins can. Apples that you buy at the store can be a year old. Apples are only harvested August through November. They're covered in wax, hot air dried, and then stored at cool temperatures. And after 6 to 12 months is when they hit grocery store shelves. Lobsters' taste buds are on their pinchers. They also have 3 stomachs, and one of them is where their teeth are. I bet you didn't know these weird